No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, Fly Fishing Guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome on into a Friday, I guess it is now, Friday edition of Bronco Nation News Live. Traveled back on Thursday from Albuquerque after Boise State picks up the upset win over New Mexico, and we will discuss that for the next 30 minutes or so with Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB. You will hear Jay on the call tomorrow on the Mountain West Network, Boise State and Air Force. Looking forward to that. But Jay, plenty to discuss today. How we doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, doing good. Happy to be back. Got the kids on the bus. A little rainy today. Today was one of the had to wave down the bus days. I've told you we have to drive about 4 blocks to the bus stop. We tried to cut it a little close today with the rain and stuff to not have to wait outside. And the bus was already there and getting ready to pull away, but flagged them down, and they waited for us. So got them on the bus, and we're good to go.
It sounds like an action movie. Just open the doors, throw Naismith and Nelly onto that thing, and be good to go.
You're not too far from that, having to deal with a school bus probably. So
yeah, I am the school bus on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, yeah, and it's a big deal too if they miss the bus to have to get them there at 8:45, and it's a much bigger ordeal. So thankfully we got them on the bus. Thank you to my wife Karen the last couple of days while I was in Albuquerque for holding down the fort, and we are back and ready to go. And Jay, plenty to discuss. Obviously, the New Mexico win was huge. We're going to look back at that, look ahead to the Air Force game, and I want to take a look at their kind of NCAA tournament picture as well. Yeah. But last 2 nights ago at the pit, not many gave them a chance to win. I know you had some of the historical stats in terms of being underdogs of that size of a margin. A point spread of that size of a margin hasn't happened a whole lot for Boise State in the last couple of years. And I know it looked great on TV, but I mean, I don't think folks just understand that atmosphere and that what they were able to do. They fall down 10-2 early. They need a timeout. The place is absolutely rocking. And for them to get back in the game and end up winning the game, rather handedly there in the final several minutes, super, super impressive. And in my mind, in my 11 years covering the team here, I can't think of a whole lot of better wins, Jay. It was, in terms of ranked opponents, it was, one of the 2 or 3 highest they've ever had, but just in games I've been, and I wasn't here for the Creighton game, so I can't necessarily count that myself, but in my 11 years here, I can't think of many games that were bigger and more impressive in the Leon Rice era than that one.
Yeah, I remember. I was actually at a Steelheads game. I was covering that, shooting it, and also paying attention to Boise State trying to pull that upset against Creighton. And Derek Marks had an awesome game that game, 35 points. I know Max had 35 against New Mexico. Both those were road upset wins. Only players in program history to score 35-plus points in a 30-plus points in a road victory over a ranked team during the Leon Rice era. So I do remember that. It was magical. It was fun. They announced the final score, and everybody went crazy because at that time, that was a historic win for Boise State. They had never beaten an opponent that highly ranked on the road before. So I do remember that. That was a lot of fun. I've covered this team for a little while now, BJ. I know you have too.
About a year or two, yeah.
Yeah, we've been around for quite a while, covered a number of teams and a number of players. So that was a fun moment that I do remember. But when you look at the fact that it was a conference game, that again, not a lot of people gave them a chance. And it's funny because when we talk about like big upsets and things like that, a lot of that perspective is based off of a point spread that is set in Las Vegas. And those people are really good at what they do, BJ, because they look at the bright lights of that place. They only get brighter and they only add to the lights. Well, they had Boise State as a double-digit underdog, and to go into the pit and win comfortably, that was really impressive. Like, there just weren't too many moments in that game following the 10-2 run that you really felt like it was in doubt. New Mexico made a bit of a run there early in the second half, but Boise State really kept them in an arm's length the rest of the way. And it was a really, really impressive road victory that, I really think, BJ, I think you could argue that's the toughest win to get this season of any venue. Just the way that New Mexico is playing, they were absolutely hammering opponents. Good opponents.
Yeah.
Nevada, San Diego State, Utah State. I mean, their average margin of victory at home this season where they hadn't lost was like 20 points. And so for Boise State to go in there and did what they did, man, it's significant for sure.
And Mountain West coaches now 0-3 after coming on our show. Nico Medved, Steve Alford, and now New Mexico and Richard Petito all lost the next day after coming on our show. So I better not say that, but I am going to try to get Danny Sprinkle on next week. We'll see if he wants to come on. Jay, I do briefly want to talk about Max Rice. I want to move on past this. It is what it is, but we're getting a lot of comments on here. That's literally every comment we've gotten. So I think it is fair to at least address it quickly and then just move on. And you can comment or not comment, whatever you want to say. I don't have any problem with what I said. I don't have any problem with what you said. We were pointing out some factual stacks. I think over the years, you and I have been overly positive towards Max Rice. If saying that at some point, maybe you need to try something different when he was literally dead last in the conference in shooting is worthy of disrespect, then like I said on Twitter, I sincerely apologize, and I'm glad that it fired it up. No one was happier to see Max Rice go for 35 than probably us. We've known that family for a long time, was super happy to see that happen, and nobody wants to see him struggling, but we are, not paid by the school. We are neutral media members to look objectively at what's going on, and the stats were what they were at the time. So I don't think any of us said he should be benched. I don't think any of us said he was a terrible player. I don't think anybody said he was only playing because his dad's the coach. I think if you go back and look at everything we said, we were more than fair about the situation, and frankly came on way later than a lot of people had in terms of the criticism and things that had been going on for a couple of weeks. So I was a little disappointed that he turned down the interview. I saw it happening courtside after the game, but didn't want to make a big deal about it on the show until I knew what had happened. And I talked the next day to some Nate Lowry at Boise State and found out that he did in fact decide he didn't want to come on. And it is what it is. We've been very positive, and it was a little disappointing that after one or a couple series of semi-critical tweets, I guess, that are literally mostly based on fact, he just decides he doesn't want to come on. That was a little disappointing, not going to lie. I know some people on here are overly positive. They want to take Max Rice's side. I get it. And like I said, we're moving on after this, but I was a little disappointed by that. And then for him to go on the radio and kind of call us out, I just didn't think was overly cool for and that's just not really how it works. You don't, there's sometimes things can be negative, things can be true. Both were the case. And I don't think either one of us went, way overboard to rip on Max Rice. And I was a little disappointed just yesterday with not only him declining the show, but then having to, on his own, bring up both of our names during an interview that I don't think anything was said different than other media members or other fans had said, in the last whatever. So he obviously had been struggling. He had a very huge 35-point game. Hopefully this is the game that lights his fire and keeps him going moving forward, Jay. And if that's because of pointing out some of the struggles, then it is what it is. But I'm moving on past it, but I was a little disappointed, not going to lie, with what went down yesterday.
Yeah, I'll say this. If the one thing I will say about an interview, if there is ever an athlete that feels like he might be putting himself in a position he doesn't want to be in by doing an interview that in this case isn't necessarily mandated or required, I guess, that athlete should have that right to exercise that right, in all honesty. Sure. That's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. If anything, that shows maybe some maturity in the forefront to guard yourself from that situation. For me, man, I approach my job with factual information. I think that in the 13 years that I have covered this institution, I have a fair amount of sweat equity. And I think that there are a lot of players that are very well respected that have accomplished a lot at Boise State that I personally believe would back up that I do respect them. And so I'll just I'm just going to leave it at that, man. Like, I'm not, I take pride in my job. I do consider the mental health and mental well-being of athletes, having been one myself. I played a game of failure, the game of baseball. After I personally got drafted, every time that I showed up at a baseball field, everyone expected me to go 4 for 4 with 4 home runs. I understand the weight of when it doesn't go your way and you don't live up to expectations. So those are all things that I consider when I talk about athletes. And even if it's a fact that I put out there, which I did put out a stat that suggested over 7 of 18 Mountain West games, there had been some struggles. And, you look at 7 of 18 that's about a month's worth of basketball. So, yeah, I just, I'll just reiterate, because the whole picture there was not me being critical of minutes or shot selection. I will say, shot selection maybe, but it was not minutes. It was not reduced shots. The night before the game, I came on your show, BJ, and I said that I personally wouldn't be mad if Max took 12 3-pointers in a game. There were other media outlets, one in which he spoke on yesterday, that were overly critical about those things. So, I guess, it is what it is, man. And so appreciate addressing it, ready to move on. I'm good. I have my reassurances that I need, that I'm good. And I will continue to approach my job the same way, thinking about factual information that benefits the viewers, the listeners. And I also heavily consider the thoughts and feelings of athletes, because like I said, I can't get out of my head that I was once in their shoes. So can't wait for Air Force, and what a win at New Mexico. And I hope that it was a this is a victory that certainly puts Boise State in a great position to make a run as they flip the calendar to February now.
Yeah, I would, in closing, I would just say, yeah, I think if you look at the track record of you and I over the last 6 years that Max has been here, we've been overly positive towards him, and we're both probably super excited to see him score 35 points. And so, like I said, if that's what fired him up, great. I think we didn't say anything that nobody else in this town wasn't saying. And again, I didn't say he should be benched. I didn't say anything that I thought was overly critical. I did say at some point you have to consider something different. At some point you would have, but they didn't get to that point, obviously, and he scored 35 points. But again, our paychecks are not by Boise State. I think we have every right to point out stats and facts and make comments that we think, and I don't think anything crossed any line. And if that truly was, worth going on the radio and calling both of us out, then like I said, I sincerely apologize. But
honestly, I don't even know if I'm not even taking it as calling us out, BJ. Like I'm not, man. Like whatever. Like we have a platform to talk about guys. It's okay if somebody else utilizes a platform to talk about us. Like it is what it freaking is. And that I'm good, man. Like I said, like I'm okay. I'm a father of two that's trying to provide for my family, and as long as I put a smile on the house over those people's lives, then I'm good. So
totally agree with you, but I do want to get into what the actual 35 points meant to the game and the team, and we'll see if he can bounce on that moving forward. Do want to thank a couple of our sponsors, rowpaint.com. Check them out, our title sponsor. All your interior, exterior painting needs, whether it's residential, industrial, you name it, commercial, they can take care of it. And obviously those concrete coatings, they're scheduling out for the spring now, so check them out, roepaint.com. Tyson Degenhardt, he has the NIL deal with Idaho Central Credit Union. Support Idaho Central Credit Union. Return the favor for what they're doing for this community and all the investments they've made in the sports scene. ICCU.com, the best in mobile e-branch online banking. I promise you will not find a better, easier experience than Idaho Central Credit Union. Make the switch today. Get more information, ICCU.com. Taco Bell, you looking for a job? How about TacoBellWorks.com? They are hiring SON management, and they will give you up to half your wages the day after your shift. So if you need quick cash, perfect opportunity. You get free food as well while you're working at Taco Bell. So check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. And SON Management, the Nicolason family, they've supported Boise State athletics with some of the scholarships and things, hundreds of thousands of dollars they've supported. So return the favor next time you're looking for a meal and check out Taco Bell. BroncoBrew.coffee, check them out as well. My wife ordered it, Jay, and within 24 hours had it at her doorstep, freshly roasted order coffee and delicious tasting as well. You're helping the NIL game. Couple bucks with every purchase goes in straight into the pocket of an athlete of your choice. Check them out online, and you will not be disappointed. And again, it's great, delicious coffee, and you're helping out Boise State athletics at the same time. BroncoBrew.coffee. And of course, Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. We saw him courtside there at the pit, and he was going crazy and was living and dying with every shot, and just appreciate his passion. Please return the favor to Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Next time you're looking to buy or sell a home, doesn't matter the size, the worth, doesn't matter. He'll take smaller homes, bigger homes, you name it. He's the best in the business, and he wants to help you out. 243-8222 is the website, and you can find it online at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, Jay, 35 points, and they needed all of them, man. And he had the air ball chant going. He had missed one, he made one, and then he had an air ball, and that place was going absolutely crazy with the air ball chant. And I thought it was big that the very next time he got in position to let it fly, even though they're just chanting really loud, and I don't know how you could hear it on the broadcast, air ball, and he drains that next one right away, which quieted the crowd and I think kind of set the tone for the rest of the game, where it's like, all right, he's already got 2 makes in the first 4 or 5 minutes here, and this may be one of his special games. So I think that's the exact reason why a lot of us have defended and stood behind Max Rice and playing him and letting him shoot as much as he has, is because you knew and you just felt a game like that was coming, and that he was able to let it fly, and he got hot, and he even hit some of the shorter shots. And so I think that game right there, a historic career high, can't miss type of game to help you to a huge road upset, was the exact reason why a lot of us have said you got to keep playing this guy and letting him do his thing, because the shots started to fall, and man, was it fun to watch. And I'll tell you this, Jay, the way they do the media setup there in Albuquerque, they literally have you in like the middle of the stands. Like there's literally 4 or 5 rows of seats, 1 row of media at a table, and then fans literally like breathing on you right behind you. And just to hear some of the comments as he kept making those threes, people throwing up their hands, and they were just so frustrated, and the language and how in disbelief they were in the second half when he kept getting some of those daggers to fall. He truly did frustrate and silence a hostile, loud, historic type crowd at the pit, and it was special, man.
It was. I think that all around, what just a team effort, man. Like, I know, like, people have, I think you go back to Chris Peterson days, and it's the SWAT mentality where that team goes in, they take care of a situation, and they get the heck out of there, right? And that is what Boise State did. You know, you look at Tyson Dagenhart's stat line, not a typical stat line for Tyson. Felt he played a really selfless game, handled the ball a little bit coming up court, a lot more probably than he typically has. Omar Stanley, man, absolute freaking war daddy. That guy was so physical. He had such an impactful presence on the glass, especially on the offensive end, creating second chance opportunities. Probably had a couple of offensive rebound deflections that he doesn't even get credit for, but kept plays alive that led to second chance points for Boise State. I thought the bench was tremendous. Cam Martin, Jace Whiting, they did exactly what Boise State has been hoping they could provide them, all season long. And I would say actually leading up to these last few weeks that they've been doing it, but it just all culminated in a really hostile environment in the pit. And so you walk away, and I mean, I truly believe this. If you can go into Albuquerque against that team that was playing as well as they have been playing, especially at home, I just don't know if there's many places you can't win. Like, if you can overcome that, you can overcome an NCAA tournament first round team on a neutral court. I firmly believe that. And so it's going to be a matter of replicating that again and again. But I was really impressed. And I have even brought up Buzo, man. Like, he hit some big shots in that game. And
yes,
you feel like he frustrated, it was a frustrating presence on the defensive end. Jamal Mashburn, man, like, he didn't do a ton. I think it was 6 of 15. Looked up some numbers from Jalen House, with all due respect, was 2 of 15 in games that he's attempted 10 or more shots. He's done that 65 times in his career, by the way, 10 or more shots. It's his lowest shooting percentage in any of those contests. I mean, to hold him 2 of 15, wow. They cut the head of the snake off from the get-go and just did not allow that thing to slither or gain any type of life. So the all-around effort was absolutely tremendous by that team in Albuquerque.
They limited their 2 big guys to only 9 shot attempts as well, pretty much made them non-factors.
There were so many moments in that game that just that made it a little scary, BJ. When Toppin hits that 3, certainly capable of doing it, but not a guy that proves that he does that with too much consistency. And so they're up 10-0. He hits a 3 in the process, and you're like, this is kind of one of those things that feels like it could snowball. But Leon takes an early timeout, right? And then like that, from that moment on, it was over for New Mexico. Again, they got up to a 10-2 run, and at one point in time it was 27-10. So Boise State bounces back after going down 10-2 early on with a 25-10 run of their own in the pit. I mean, it was so impressive to see how they just methodically just killed New Mexico.
Yeah, no, it was super impressive. Like I said, that atmosphere, and you talk about winning on a neutral court, Jay, in an NCAA tournament game. It also says suddenly, like, you don't feel like, I mean, I'm still not expecting it, but you certainly feel a little better and think it's a little more possible now that they could win a game or 2 next week at Colorado State. Utah State's going to be tough. They're doing the court for the former coach there. That student section always goes crazy. That's going to be a sellout. They've traditionally, over the last 25 years, not played great down there, although it's been a little better recently. But San Diego State, again, going to be tough, but they will not play in a louder environment, I don't think so, than what they experienced last night. Utah State will be close. San Diego State can get loud at times, but what they experienced last night, if you win that game, you suddenly think you can win you have a real reason to think you can win every game left on your schedule.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Viejas is unbelievable. Like, I mean, an outstanding home court atmosphere for San Diego State. I kind of feel, though, that the hostility of New Mexico and Utah State is probably just a little more heightened than a San Diego State. Now, San Diego State still, like, again, the show brings it, man. But I just feel like there's almost just like a little heightened hostility in New Mexico and in Logan.
No doubt about it. I agree with that. And again, massive win for a lot of reasons, Jay, as we kind of transition here. The NCAA tournament, I thought was it was huge for that. I mean, we talked about it last week at some point, Jay. I said, hey, they got to get going. I said, they got to get going here with the metrics and with some of this stuff. Like, they needed a kick in terms of the net ranking, the Ken Palm, some of this stuff. And they certainly got that, going up 12 spots in the net. Their season high is 42. They're at 44 right now. The Ken Palm went up 11 spots as well. So it gives them the quad 1 win. You'd like to see Colorado State get back into the top 30. Somebody ironically kind of brought up that next week's going to be interesting because you either get a quad 1 win by beating them or maybe get a quad 1 win by losing and letting them go up 2 spots. So you're in a decent shape at some point to add another quad 1 against Colorado State somehow, as weirdly as it is to look at that. But right now, 4 quad 1 wins. The one quad 3 loss is still looming, and I know that is a factor, a quad 3 loss, and I'm not saying that's going to keep them out of the tournament, but it does factor in terms of seeding and things like that. That's considered a, quote, bad loss. But other than that, the resume is starting to look really impressive. The 8, I believe, quad 1, quad 2 wins, the 4 quad 1 wins. I mentioned the metrics getting better. That win kept them in the race for the Mountain West Championship, obviously, as in second place, but with everything else in terms of not only getting to the big dance, but trying to make that seed as nice as possible. That was just a massive, massive win.
Yeah, I think, somebody asked me on Twitter, like, when do you feel good about, where Boise State's at in like the net rankings, for example? Anything in the 30s come Selection Sunday, I think you feel wonderful about. And right now, Boise State's at 44. They have that massive 12 spot jump following the New Mexico game. And actually, I said, BJ, where are they at today? Actually, they go from 56 to 44. But it has updated since then. It updated today. So maybe it's changed. Still 44. Okay, so you feel good about that. Now, unfortunately, you are going to face an Air Force team that is going to be a quad 4 game. So this is one of those games where
got to run it up.
I would love to just talk about winning the game because that's what it should be. But as it pertains to the bigger picture, you probably do need to go get a double-digit victory tomorrow
14.
over
14 is the number at
Ken
Palm. 14.
Well, that's kind of the bar. I think it's dumb, but that's kind of the bar. So, if not, then it could maybe make you slide just a little bit. And I know the net says what they do when they don't calculate, but they do calculate efficiencies, and efficiencies are they change when you perform better, and when you perform better, your margins of victory are better, right? Air Force certainly can be a sneaky team. They got a great versatile player on their roster that is more than capable of making an afternoon, difficult. And they have, one of the more unique victories in the Mountain West this season. It might be the most surprising, even more so than Boise State at New Mexico. It might be the most surprising victory of the season, BJ, to go down to Las Vegas after having lost a number of games in a row. I don't think they didn't have a Mountain West win when they did this, and they go down and they beat UNLV by 32 on their home floor.
Yeah,
that might take the cake as the most surprising victory of the season in the Mountain West Conference.
And the most impressive, that one too. But then I think the most impressive one to this point, I mean, I guess you could make a case for that, was the one last night, or 2 nights ago in Albuquerque, given the circumstances, I guess, but to go about 34 on the road anywhere in the conference, and a UNLV team that really had a couple nice wins, beating Boise State.
They were coming off Boise State's win. Yeah, I mean that was the shocking thing about it.
Air Force tomorrow, though. Any chance of a letdown?
I don't think so. I think that Boise State once won 22 straight games in a row at home. It was the longest streak in the country, and now they've let 2 out of the last 3 just kind of slip out of their hands on their home floor at the last second. Nah, they'll be dialed tomorrow. They're gonna have to. It is a 1-day shorter turnaround than they've been accustomed to in conference play this season, since they're out on the road too on a Wednesday. So a little tighter turnaround, but I would expect them to be fully dialed. It's funny because some of the things that Leon has said this season, maybe after a loss as it pertains to Boise State, was ringing in my head and I was almost applying it to New Mexico. And, I think against, I think it was UNLV, he's like, you can't tiptoe into a knife fight or something along those lines. And man, that could not have been more the opposite of that approach against New Mexico. And so I would expect them to utilize that, be fired up, be ready to go against Air Force, take care of business, and then get on to next week, which is, man, when you consider the two, like what they have to do in back-to-back games, this actually might be the most difficult week of the season that Boise State will approach, but they got to get through Air Force, take care of business there before they do that.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the bench. They deserve some credit. We'll get to some other stuff as well. Appreciate you, Jay. We're going to take a quick break here and thank some of our sponsors. Cutwater Spirits, check them out. Cutwater Spirits, more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can check them out at your local gas station or grocery store. Highly recommend the Long Island, the pina colada, the margaritas are good as well. And we appreciate Cutwater Spirits. How about Lithia Ford? We talked about them last week. They got the new NIL deals. Andrew Simpson, Ahmed Hassanin on the football side, Matt Lauder as well. And then on the women's side, Paige Barsh from the volleyball team and Brooke Patterson from the women's golf team. So 5 Boise State athletes rocking Lithia Ford vehicles right now. We appreciate Lithia Ford Boise for their support of BNN, but also Boise State Athletics. Check them out. View their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. Our friends at Transportation Compliance Service want to remind you, if you're looking for a job, check out transcomservice.com, the best in the trucking industry. If you're looking to get out there on the open road, you want a new job, a new career, a new path, it's very lucrative right now. You can do that at transcomservice.com. They'll help you with all the permits and everything you need to get out there on the open road and towing that first load in no time. Check them out. Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. The Blue and Orange store, I'll be heading there here shortly. I'm going to go to Pro Image right next door, actually, and get some Chiefs gear. I need a new sweatshirt that fits. My wife's looking at getting some of the NIL shirts as well. The Blue and Orange store, check them out at the Boise Town Square Mall there on the second floor. An entire store dedicated to Boise State gear and apparel, and they've got all the NIL shirts. They've got the sideline apparel, the coaches' shirts, a huge wall of hats. You name it, you can get it at the Blue and Orange store. And if you're not in the Boise area, you can just go online, theblueandorangestore.com, free shipping any order over $40. We want to thank Ridley's Family Markets as well. Shop Ridleys.com. They got locations all across the state of Idaho, the surrounding states, and I love that CUNA location. They got new locations coming, so appreciate them. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. You can download that app on your smartphone and get savings up to 40%. Find a location near you, get more information at shopridleys.com, but very appreciative of Ridley's Family Markets, and hopefully you'll consider them the next time you're heading to the grocery store. 2 more quick ones I want to thank. Lean Feast, check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. That website at the bottom is wrong. It's leanfeastmeridian.com. Ate a healthy meal from Lean Feast last night when I got off the plane from Albuquerque. So happy to have them on board as a supporter, and they've got NIL deals with some athletes as well, Ashton Genty and Tyson Tegenhard, and they're going adding some more daily. So check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. Healthy meal prep. You will not be disappointed with Lean Feast, and we're very thankful and appreciative of them. And again, steak, shrimp, all kinds of great options, and you're eating it in like 2 minutes out of the microwave. So check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. And Timberstone Golf Course. Timberstone Golf Course, play timberstone.com. I know it's not great golf weather today, but the weather will be improving. It's starting to warm up. I know people were out playing yesterday when it was in the 60s the last couple days. Play timberstone.com. Book your tee time. They got the private lessons with Ted Holloway available as well. You can work on your short game area there in the short game area as well. So check them out. We appreciate them at playtimberstone.com. All right, as I said, Jay Tust is on the call for the Mountain West Network tomorrow with Air Force. He had to jump off to get on a call with Mike Burns, and they're doing some production meetings and things to get set for the game. So Jay did have to roll there. But we appreciate Jay for jumping on. I know we mentioned it a little bit, but we got to give a little shout out to the bench. I think Cam Martin, that dunk down the middle was huge. I thought Jace Whiting had some huge minutes. Once I'm going to raise my chair up here a little bit. I'm kind of falling off the screen here. Once Roddy Anderson got into foul trouble, I thought Jace Whiting was huge. Some big minutes. You know, you don't need Jace Whiting to score, but he got to the rim and scored, had a couple nice buckets, hit some big free throws, and then had a big pass right before halftime to get a bucket for Omar Stanley on that dunk. I thought I thought Jace Whiting was huge in that game, and I think the bench deserves some credit. Andrew Meadow came in, gave some productive minutes. I don't remember if he scored or not, but was super appreciative and thankful for the people down there in New Mexico. We had a great trip. Really enjoyed going down there, and it should be on your bucket list. I know we joke about New Mexico with the power rankings and stuff, but it was an awesome time down there, awesome atmosphere at the pit, and it truly should be on any college basketball fans' bucket list moving forward. And I'm sure for Matt Boucher and those that came down and went to the game, it had to be just unbelievable to experience that atmosphere and then walk away with a win. I can't imagine for Boise State's players and staff and the small amount of fans that were down there just how amazing that feeling must have been. But now you have to turn the page to Air Force. And as we said, the KenPom number is 14. And it stinks. It's not fun. It's not a great part of basketball these days. But going into the game, for your computer metrics, for all that stuff, like it's got to be a 14-point win. So just winning the game tomorrow is obviously the goal. You want to win the game, and that's going to be the ultimate goal, just to avoid the quad 4 loss as it would be. But certainly winning the game by at least 14 would have a chance to help me. If they could have some 30-point win and just blow them out, which I don't see happening, that would certainly help the computer metrics a lot. So be curious to see how they continue to work Jace into the mix. I think he's proven that he deserves some minutes now. Whether they play him and Roddy together, I don't know. But, it's not going to be easy to take Max Rice off the court after he just had 35 points. So certainly they're going to have to figure out the rotations and things moving forward here and what they decide to do. But super impressive game at New Mexico, one of the best wins. Like I said, I'd have to put pen to paper, but I'm not sure I can think of a better win in my 11 years here. Maybe the Mountain West Championship game, beating San Diego State for a third time to win a Mountain West Championship, maybe. But in terms of hostile road environments, not many people giving them a chance, I don't know if I can think of a better win in my 11 years covering the team than what happened. And in terms of individual performances, Max Rice, that's got to be right up there. I know Chandler Hutchison had 44 to beat San Diego State at home, but on the road against a ranked team to silence the crowd, that performance, 35 points, that was as good as I've ever seen covering Boise State athletics. And I'd have to maybe compare some football games and some other things. But you talk about individual outings. I don't know if there's anything better than what Max Rice did given the situation. 35 points, 7 made 3-pointers, and they're going to need him to keep doing that moving forward. They're going to need Max Rice to stay hot and hit shots. And if that can, we're not expecting 35 points out of Max Rice, but if you can get 20 more times than not, if you can get 3 or 4 threes more times than not, and you can look up and he's, 8 of 15 instead of, 3 of 12. I think Max Rice is a huge difference maker for this team moving forward. So I know some folks are saying Derek Marks on there. That certainly probably stands out. But he had a couple huge ones. But in terms of my time here, I only got the very end of Derek Marks. I think that he's got to be right up there at the top in terms of individual performances. And like I said, you need that from Max Rice. If Max Rice can give you a little more consistent effort, that's a game changer, because we all saw last year how good Max can be and how good he is, and we saw that again against New Mexico. And if Max Rice can consistently knock down threes the rest of the season, this Boise State team is going to be hard to beat. They really are. So that was just a huge positive sign. Whatever motivated him, good for him, and hopefully it continues, because that was an outstanding performance by Max Rice. Want to tell folks briefly, and we'll keep taking your comments and your thoughts. We're not ending the show yet, but we're looking forward to the pool party March 15th, Stadium Swim, Circa Resort and Casino. If you want to stay there, I got 15% off links for Stadium Swim. I can get you 15% off at Circa or the D Hotel if you want to stay there. If you're staying somewhere else, but we'd love to still have you come to the party. Typically, it's like a $40 or $50 cover charge. We can get you in for free if you RSVP to Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com. We're taking over Stadium Swim. They're going to have some cabanas for us. We're going to have a huge reserve pool. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's on semifinal Friday of the Mountain West Tournament. Johnny and Prater will be doing their show out there live. So I'll be out there as well. Looking forward to it on Friday, March 15th. So make your plans to go to the Mountain West Tournament. If you've never been or you're thinking, should I go, look at all these games in the Mountain West and think about how exciting that conference tournament is going to be, and make plans to join us at Stadium Swim in Las Vegas on Friday, March 15th. Again, just email Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com to RSVP, and we'd love to have you join us at the pool party for free. We've also had about 30 people sign up in January. We're very appreciative and thankful to you. We have another week or 10 days left. I think we're going to do it during the bye week. So after the Utah State game that following week, we will go ahead and give away our trip to San Diego. So you are running out of time. Jump in now. It's just $50 for a full year using the promo code BNN50 deal. It's a promo code. You go sign up for a 1-year subscription. Typically it's $70. You get your first year for $50. If you use BNN50 deal, you pay one time. You don't pay again for another year. And all of our yearly subscribers are entered into our giveaways. We're going to do one tomorrow. I'm trying to find out what the items are. Somebody asked if we're doing one today. I don't have some updated items yet from Cutwater, so I'm working on that. But we will try on the pregame show tomorrow to have another set of giveaways. So pregame show tomorrow, we'll give some gift cards and things away. Make sure you're joining us 1 o'clock with the pregame show as we get you set for Boise State and Air Force. And all yearly subscribers, anyone that's renewed, anyone that's paid the full 70, if you come in for 50 at the deal, anyone that is currently a yearly subscriber is automatically entered to win the grand prize, which is a private trip for two, or a private jet trip for two. Heading down to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. We're staying over, coming back the next day. It's going to be a ton of fun. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. It's sponsored by Ridley's Family Markets, Bauscher Real Estate, the Blue and Orange Store, and Cutwater Spirits. And again, you're running out of time to sign up. I hope you would sign up because you want to read Prater's columns, read my articles, all of our exclusive content, the daily email that you get. Hopefully that's enough. But if you need to be have the pot sweetened by a chance to win some gift cards and a trip on a private jet, we would appreciate that if you would jump in and sign up. And again, we're going to do the giveaway the week after the bye. So only about 10 days left in this contest till we do the giveaway. So hopefully folks will jump in now and subscribe. Let's take a look at some more of these comments on here. Have not heard anything about tickets. It's a 2 o'clock game. We'll see. Looking forward to Stadium Swim. No, it's a live. This one's not that much trouble, to be honest with you, Derek. I appreciate you for saying that, though. But it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to having you guys down there. And I love Stadium Swim. I'm actually going down to watch the Super Bowl next week down there after the Utah State game. So I'm excited to get down there and see it. And it is a phenomenal spot if you've never been there, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So we're looking forward to that. Sales looking good on Ticketmaster, according to Tyree. So that's a good sign. And don't sleep on Air Force. I know they've had some tough games, and the rankings necessarily aren't good. They're 204th at KenPom. They've only won one of their last 12, 10, 11 games. Looks like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 1-10 in their last 11 games. That one win somehow was a 32-point road win at UNLV, but they have since lost to Fresno by 14 on the road and then just lost by 11 to Wyoming at home. And now they come here, and again, the projected KenPom score 73-59, so it's a 14-point margin that Boise State is working with. But again, the big thing, just win. I know the numbers dip if you win by one or whatever, but at this point, just win. Move on, and don't. I'm not going to the Super Bowl, by the way. Somebody said when I'm at Allegiant Stadium, I'm not going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl at Circa Resort and Casino. And any of our listeners that live in Las Vegas area, which I know a lot of you do, they're having awesome watch parties at Circa out at Stadium Swim. You get food and drink included, and it's a great time. They're also doing the Circa Squares. You know, everyone does the squares at like a Super Bowl party. Well, they've got those going at Circa if you're in Nevada or Reno or Vegas, where you can just pick. They already have the predetermined odds, and you can pick any square you want, and you already have the numbers. Oh, I want 0-7. Oh, I want 0-0. You can do all that. Oh, that's plus 750. They have all that stuff already predetermined, and that's exciting, and a lot of the props and things they have going on. So looking forward to get down there. And if you are in Nevada, as many of our viewers are, we highly recommend you head over to Circa Resort and Casino for the Super Bowl on Sunday. And there's not a better place to watch the big game than over at Circa. So I mentioned the Air Force game tomorrow. It's going to be a big one, but I will have another show at 3 o'clock, the Matt Bauscher Show. Matt Bauscher, he is back from the pit. We're going to talk to him about that experience of being in the pit. We're going to talk to him about just being there and seeing that and where this team is at right now. He has been at a couple of the road games, and looking forward to catching up with Matt. 3 o'clock. He couldn't do it live today, so hope you can make plans to rejoin us at 3 o'clock for the Matt Bauscher Show here on Bronco Nation News, any of the channels that you are watching us on. And again, 3 o'clock, Matt Bauscher will be back. We'll talk Boise State basketball some more and get you set for the Air Force game tomorrow. And we'll have a a 1 o'clock pregame show. Tip-off is 2 o'clock on the Mountain West Network tomorrow. We'll be live about 1 o'clock with Abe Jackson, and we'll get you set for the game against Air Force. And then a big week next week. We'll worry about that next week. Boise State's got to take care of business against Air Force tomorrow. You got a big San Diego State-Utah State game going on at about the same time. So if San Diego State takes care of business at home, which you'd think they would, then Boise State would be back in a tie for first place for the Mountain West Conference standings at the midway point pretty much of the season. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. Appreciate the support. And big one tomorrow for Boise State against Air Force. Hope to see you down at Extra Mile Arena. Come say hello if you were there. Thank you again to all of our sponsors for helping us out. And go support the sponsors, folks. Can't do these shows without the sponsors. And these are free shows on social media. So help us out. Support the sponsors. Give our video a like and a subscribe button there at the bottom of the screen. Tell your friends. And again, I'll be back at 3 o'clock with Matt Boucher. We'll talk Boise State basketball some more. We got some interviews with Leon Rice and Cam Martin coming up about 12:30, so I'll get those on the YouTube channel as well. We'll talk to you with Matt Boucher at 3, and then from Extra Mile Arena at 1 o'clock tomorrow with the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. We'll talk to you with Matt here in a couple hours. You can read all of our work. Somebody mentioned a comment about Leon Rice shooting himself in the knee. I think it was Robbie Robinson. Yes, that is in Mike Prater's column, the full story that he posted about Max Rice yesterday at BroncoNationNews.com. So go read that column, and you can hear the story about Leon Rice shooting himself when he was a kid in the knee. Yeah, big game for Max Rice. Big game for the Broncos. They'll try to keep it rolling against Air Force tomorrow, and we'll have full coverage as always, Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com. We'll be back with Matt Boucher at 3 o'clock here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll talk to you then. Have a good day, guys.